Just coming in and improving from last year, that's for me and just for the whole line. So.
Yo, what's up everyone? Michelle here, and we've got some absolute chaos hitting the league right now. You won't believe what just dropped regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, this is heavy stuff. Stick around, because this changes everything for the kingdom. Roll the intro. Listen, honestly, I've been sitting on these numbers for a week, just processing the level of disrespect coming out of some of these national outlets. Because look, we're not just talking about a roster move, we're talking about a masterclass in roster architecture. We're talking about the soul of the Chiefs' offensive identity, that never-settle mentality that Brett Veach and Andy Reid have tattooed on their brains. Honestly, the way they handled the Joe Thuney problem in 2025, it was surgical, and nobody, I mean nobody, is giving them the credit they deserve. Joe Thuney? The man literally just finished the greatest 3-year stretch for a guard in the history of the sport. First team All-Pro in 23, 24, and now 25 with the Bears. Oh, and he walks away with the first ever Protector of the Year award at the NFL Honors last week. Think about that. The Chiefs let the best lineman in football walk, and they actually got better. If you think that's just luck, you're watching a different sport, my friend. Let's go back 12 months, March 2025. The Chiefs are staring at a cap nightmare, $54 million over the limit. They couldn't afford to keep Thuney at a $26 million cap hit. So Veach pulls the trigger, a trade to Chicago for a 2026 fourth-rounder. At the time, the fans were screaming, "You're giving Mahomes' bodyguard away for a bag of chips." But look at what that money did. It was the key to the city. That $16 million in savings allowed them to keep the band together. Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt, Charles O'Menahue, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Honestly, without that trade, the Chiefs don't even win 6 games in 2025. They'd be picking in the top 5 right now instead of looking at another Super Bowl run. But the real magic, it wasn't just the money, it was the Kingsley Suamataia resurrection. Look, we all saw the 2024 tape. It was brutal. Kingsley gets benched in week 2 after getting roasted at left tackle. He looked lost. He looked like a bust candidate. But Andy Heck, one of the best O-line coaches to ever do it, saw something. He moved the 6'4", 326-pound monster from BYU inside to left guard. And honestly, Kingsley didn't just play well, he thrived. I talked to a source inside the building. 3-second dramatic pause, and they told me Kingsley at guard is a different animal. His hand size and that 33-inch reach allow him to anchor against those 3-technique monsters in a way he couldn't on the edge. He started all 17 games in opposition. He only missed a handful of snaps in Denver for a concussion check. His PFF grade, 65.1. That puts him in the top half of the league in his first year at a new position. We're talking about a guy who was basically a free replacement for an All-Pro because Veach was smart enough to use a 63rd overall pick as a hedge. Before I lose my mind over the technicals of this O-line, do me a favor, hit subscribe, smash that like, and I need to see your takes in the comments. Is Kingsley the future at guard, or do the Chiefs still need to spend big in free agency to protect 15? Tell me what you think below. I'm reading them all. And let's talk about the true left tackle, Josh Simmons. Look it, Veach takes him at the end of the first round in 2025, a guy coming off a patellar tendon injury. High risk, high reward. And for the first half of the season, it was a home run. Simmons was the blindside protector Mahomes has been dreaming of since Eric Fisher left. He gave up 1 sack in his first 5 games. 1! But then, the injury bug hits again. A wrist surgery on Thanksgiving ends his season. This is where the depth matters, because they moved Thuney. They had the cash to grab Jalen Moore 6 weeks before the draft. Jalen Moore was the bridge. He was the insurance policy. And look, the Chiefs' line stayed top 10 in pass blocking win rate all year despite the injuries. Veach's ability to layer the depth chart is what keeps the window open, a scout from a rival AFC West team told me. They don't just have a plan B, they have a plan C and D that can actually win games. Honestly, it makes me laugh when people say the Chiefs are falling apart. They just orchestrated one of the most difficult positional transitions in the league without a blip on the radar. They turned an aging, expensive superstar, Thuney, into a 22-year-old rising star, Suamataia, and a first-round foundational piece, Simmons. That is how you maintain a dynasty. You don't get sentimental, you get efficient. But let's look at the technical lore. Suamataia's 10-yard split in his BYU Pro Day was 1.74 seconds. For a guy that size, that's scout talk for elite lateral movement. When he was a tackle, his footwork was too wide. He'd get beat by the ghost move from speed rushers. But at guard, he's in a phone booth. He doesn't have to worry about the 4.3 speed burners on the edge. He just has to use those heavy hands to stop the bull rush. And let me tell you, ask the defensive tackles in this division. Kingsley Suamataia is a brick wall in the run game. I talked to a trainer in KC. 3-second dramatic pause. And they told me Kingsley at guard is a different animal. His hand size and that 33-inch reach allow him to anchor against those 3-technique monsters in a way he couldn't on the edge. He's projecting to be a top 10 guard by 2026. If Simmons comes back healthy, if Creed Humphrey stays the anchor, this O-line isn't just solved, it's a weapon. We're talking about a wide zone scheme that demands guards to pull and reach second-level linebackers. Suamataia's hand size, we're talking almost 11 inches, allows him to latch onto pads and just steer people like a forklift. So why aren't we talking about this more? Because O-line play isn't sexy, right? Tell that to Patrick Mahomes. Tell that to the guys who had to block for Shane Buechele at the end of the season. Protection is everything. And look it, the financial benefits of the Thuney trade are still hitting. They have the flexibility this spring to go after a premier pass rusher or another weapon for 15, all because they were cold-blooded enough to trade a legend. Listen, if you think the Chiefs are done, you're watching a different sport. They are 3 steps ahead of the rest of the league while everyone else is still trying to figure out the salary cap. Brett Veach is the grand master of this game. Andy Hack is the O-line whisperer. And Kingsley Suamataia is the next all-pro in waiting. He is the reason why Joe Thuney's absence didn't turn into a total collapse of the interior pocket. When you have a guy with Kingsley's athleticism playing in a phone booth, it creates a clean pocket depth that allows Mahomes to step up and avoid those wide 9 speed rushers. But let's look at the draft capital side of this. Veach used the 63rd overall pick in 24 on Kingsley. Then he uses a first-rounder in 25 on Simmons. That is a massive investment in the trenches, and it's paying off. Suamataia has resurrected his career at guard, and he's only 23. He's younger than some of the guys coming out in this 2026 draft. Honestly, the league should be terrified that the Chiefs found a way to turn a bust tackle into a beast guard in 12 months. A source inside the locker room told me, 3-second dramatic pause, Kingsley doesn't miss Thuney. He respects him, but he wants to be better. He's already watching tape of the Bears games just to see where Joe is winning so he can do it better in KC. That's the mentality you want. That's the soul of the red and gold. Look, the Chiefs' 2026 O-line is looking like a wall. Simmons at LT, Suamataia at LG, Creed at center, Trey Smith at RG, and Jawan at RT. If that group stays healthy, good luck to the rest of the AFC West. Max Crosby, Joey Bosa, you're going to have to go through a combine of 320-pound monsters just to get a sniff of Mahomes. The 2025 season might have been a rebuilding year by KC standards, winning 6 games when your quarterback is hurt. But look at the foundation. You have a Pro Bowl caliber guard in Suamataia, a stud left tackle in Simmons, and the cap space to fix whatever else is broken. The Joe Thuney problem wasn't just solved, it was used as a springboard for the next decade of dominance. And honestly, I can't wait to see Kingsley in year 2 at guard. He's going to be a monster on those screenplays, lead blocking for Kareem Hunt, or whoever Veach brings in. I want to hear from the Kingdom on this one. Are you still missing Joe Thuney, or are you all in on the Kingsley Suamataia hype train? Does Josh Simmons' injury history scare you, or is he the long-term answer at left tackle? Drop a comment. I'm reading them all. I need to see your takes. Am I crazy for thinking Kingsley is the next All-Pro, or is the resurrection just a fluke? Honestly, if you don't see the genius in this transition, you're not paying attention to the tape. The Thuney system is alive and well in KC. It just has a new, younger, cheaper face. I'm Michelle, and this is the Kingdom Network. We reload, we rebuild, we reign. How about those Chiefs? See you in the comments.